Have you ever wanted to be the Harbinger and just fly and shoot deadly lasers? Or throw a nuke on something by just looking at it? Well, with Theo's Magic and Extra, this is now possible. And today I'm gonna show you everything you need to know about this add-on to Iron Spells and Spellbook. And the first thing we are going to talk about is the new School of Magic, the Aqua School. This new school is basically based on water and water spells. And there's some really wild one. And in order to craft those spells, you will need some pearls from Alex Cave. And to use this mod, you will need Alex Cave, Ellender's Cataclysm, Iron Spells and Spellbook, and optionally you can have Mousy's mobs and Alex mobs. I am not going to go over anything about these mods. If you want information on how to find the items from these mods, or how to craft them, you can go watch my tutorials on these mods. So with that, there's a new Aqua Rune that is crafted with Pearl again, but also dropped from the Aquamancer. You can also craft an Aqua Upgrade Orb. It functions like any other upgrade orb, and you need 8 Aqua Rune to craft. And with these runes, you can also craft a new set of armor made specifically for Aqua spells. You can now upgrade Spellbook up to 15 slot with the Sanctified Slot Improvement or the Spectral Spell Slot Improvement. These are craftable with Vesper Wings and Arcane Cloth or Blessed Amethyst Crab and Arcane Cloth. One is definitely easier to craft than the other. Now moving on to the new structure and the Aquamancer. The structure will spawn on beaches. They are kind of lighthouse that resemble a lot the structures from Iron Spells and Spellbook. At the top of the tower, you will find the Aquamancer. He will be hostile, you have to kill them, and they drop normal loot that an NPC from Iron Spells and Spellbook will drop, along with its Aqua Rune. I strongly suggest that you take the book from the lectern, because you will need it for trade with the Aqua Grandmaster. Aqua Grandmasters are rare, neutral NPCs that spawn on beaches, and you can only trade with them at night. They sell various useful items, including some cave biome to the Abyssal Chasm, which are extremely useful if you want pearls, but can also trade the new Sunken Fate with the Guide to Watery Whisper. And this will bring us to the new spellbooks. The Guide to Watery Whispers is the only one that can be traded like this. All the other one are drops from mobs. The Shellbound is dropped from the Amethyst Crab, the Codex of Crushing Death is dropped from the Hullbreaker, the Chronicle of the Fire Lord is dropped by Ignis, the Ekker's Codex is dropped by Maledictus, and the Archive of Abyssal Secrets is dropped by the Leviathan. The Shellbound is about the same strength with 12 spell slot as the Guide to Watery Whispers, but all the other ones are stronger spellbook containing already inscribed spell that you cannot remove, 300 max mana, and 15 to 20% spell power to their respective power. And each spell book also give +1 level to one spell. Now moving on to the staffs, there's only 3 and all 3 come from the same source. And the first one you'll get is the Titan Lord's Scepter. To get the Titan Lord's Scepter, you need to right-click a tame baby Tremorzilla with a Tremor Core. You need to ensure that the Tremorzilla is tame by the same owner to receive the reward. The Tremor Core can be rarely found in toxic caves or by defeating another Tremorzilla. You can change the type of spell power by giving it either an Ember Curiosity to give him lightning spell power, or a Tectonic Shard to give him fire spell power. The basic one has a nature. But one of the strongest power of the Titan Lord Scepter is the ability to recast the Annihilation spell. Now, I'm not gonna go in detail at all on spells, except those that are boosted by items, armor, curios, or weapons. There's gonna be a video on my second channel detailing every spell one by one. So if you wanna go see that after, you're welcome to. And subscribe. Of course, subscribe. So in order to use the Annihilation spell on the Scepter, you first need to have it written on a book. And with that said book and the Titan Scepter, I'm gonna go further because this actually griefs. Let's say, there's a sheep here. Not enough mana, hold on. All right. It's 5-second gas. And it's basically a nuke, and you can recast it again without cooldown. Moving on to the armor, we have the Primordial Crest armor. This one is similar in power to the Deep One Mage armor. It gives Nature Power spell. It is crafted pretty much the same way as the Plague armor, except that you need some tough hides and heavy bone to craft it. But the big advantage is that it can be upgraded to the Tectonic armor. To upgrade a Primordial Press armor piece to a Tectonic one, you need a smithing template that is crafted with 4 arcane ingots, some Pewin sap, an Ember Curiosity, and 2 heavy bones. They cannot be duplicated from what I see here, and the Tectonic ingot are crafted with Tectonic Shard with 4 iron ingots. The Tectonic armor is a big upgrade in terms of armor and spell power compared to the normal one. This tier of armor is at the same tier of the Abyssal one, the Cursed one, and the mechanized exoskeleton. I forgot to talk about the passive set. The Deepling Mage Armor, when wearing the full set, will grant you water breathing when underwater, and wearing the armor will also give you 30% less damage from the hull break. For the Primal Jeweled Crest chestplate, when wearing the full set, each time the wearer is hit, it triggers a shockwave that knocks back nearby entities and deal damage in a 5-block radius. The damage is scaled by the fire spell power and can only occur once every 20 seconds. Long-cast armor imbued spell will be interrupted when the armor is on cooldown. Imbue with an instant cast spell. Basically, you can imbue your chestplate just as you would imbue a weapon with a spell. Then the Tectonic Crest chestplate, when you wear the full set, it does, well, basically the same thing, except that it sets them on fire. Moving on to the Abyssal Armor. To craft this one, you will actually need to make the Netherite Battle Mage Armor, which is an Iron Spells and Spellbook armor set, and you're going to upgrade it with the Abyssal upgrade. For that, you need a crystallized coral fragment or a coral chunk, 4 arcane ingots, 2 Nautilus shell, and an amethyst shard with a smithing template in the middle. And for the Abyssal Spellweave ingot, well, you need to kill the Leviathan. Again, as well as the book, as well as the ingot, and you'll notice that some weapons also are dropped from bosses. You'll need to farm a lot of bosses. When wearing a full set of armor, dropping below 75% health will cause an abyssal orb to shoot, homing in on nearby enemies and dealing damage. The damage scale with the wearer's Eldritch and Ender spell power. It can only occur every 20 seconds. Long-cast armor imbued spell will be interrupted just like the other one. Then we have the Curse Raid Guard armor. Same as last time, this one is upgraded by the Netherite Battle Mage set. You need a smithing template. This is actually a Cataclysm recipe, and you need some Cursium ingot, which are also a drop from a Maledictus. When wearing the full set, each hit fuels the Phantom Rage. When the rage reaches maximum, the wearer is granted a powerful boost, increased attack damage, spell power, and arrow damage for 15 seconds. The armor also boosts your arrow power, which is kinda special, and if the wearer's health drops below 50%, the effect is greatly enhanced. It can only occur once every 40 seconds. And the last armor, the most complicated one, but the most fun one, is the Mechanized Exoskeleton. This one is crafted from Withered Upgrade, which is made from 4 Arcane Ingot, 2 block of redstones, 2 redstone dust, and a smithing template. And then again, you need to upgrade the Netherite Battle Mage set with Withered Ingot, or for the chestplate, a special item, the Elytra Jetpack component. This thing is crafted with an energized core, 2 Heart of Iron, 2 Last Glow, which are dropped from the Harbinger when you kill it, and you need an Elytra, 3 Witherite Ingot. You might want also a second Elytra Jetpack component, because this is also a belt item. This is a curio. So let's look at the armor before looking at the belt. When you wear the full set, you can, well, fly like an Elytra, but you also have fuel to propulse yourself. So let me demonstrate. Let's go in survival. Now my fuel is charging up by simply staying on the ground. You can use Tesla Bulb to instantly restore 50% of your fuel when you are depleted airborne. So if we press C, as you can see, we have a jetpack. Oh my god, it's so fast. And now the sound is bugged. Hold on, I'll be right back. So now, when you have the belt equipped, you don't need Tesla Bulb to recharge your jetpack mid-flight. You can use the Plasma Power Cell. These are crafted with Tesla Bulb, 7 redstone, and a Witherite Ingot to give 12 Plasma Power Cell. Now, moving on to the weapons. First of all, we have the Abyssal Tide Collar. This is a drop from the Leviathan. This weapon's normal attack have a 40% chance to inflict the Abyssal Curse on enemies, dealing damage over time for 5 seconds. Additional proc, increase the damage tick rate, stacking up to 3 times. It has already an imbued spell called Shadow Miasma, and these new weapon can be evolved 3 times. To evolve this weapon, you will need an Abyssal Spellweave Ingot that we've seen earlier, and an Abyssal Tentacle, which is, you guessed it, well, dropped again by the Leviathan. A lot of new drop from bosses. You can combine the Abyssal Tidewalker with the Annihilator to create the Obliterator. The Obliterator's normal attack have 45% chance to inflict the Abyssal Curse 2 instead of 1 on enemies, dealing damage over time for 5 seconds, and has higher critical damage against target affected with the Abyssal Curse. You can hold right click for 2 seconds while wielding the weapon in both hands to conjure an Abyss Blast Portal in front. This weapon can be evolved the same way as the other one before. Next, we have the Cursed Wraith Blade. This one is dropped by Maledictus, and souls are reaped from each strike, feeding the darkness as the counter rises. The Cursed Blast cataclysmic power grow, amplified by each soul's demise. You can evolve this weapon with a Cursium Ingot and an Echo Winglet, which is dropped by Maledictus. You can upgrade the Cursed Raid Blade in a Mechanical Fusion Anvil with the Laser Gatling, creating the Mechanized Raid Blade. Each strike generates Plasma Core energy, serving as both ammunition and a boost to damage output. Stored Plasma Core power, a continuous laser beam when holding right-click. This one can be evolved with a Witherite Ingot and a Last Glow. The Flame of Eldritch, dropped by Ignis, have its normal attack 40% chance to inflict Blazing Brand for 3 seconds. Blazing Brand reduces armor for 4 points and armor toughness by 1 point. You can evolve this weapon with an Ignitium Ingot and a Flame-Tempered Handguard. This is, well, dropped by Ignis again. Next we have Harbinger's Wrath. This one is dropped by the Harbinger, and successful hit on enemies has 15% chance to stun them with a mini EM Pulse. You evolve this one the same way as the Mechanical Raid Blade. Next we have Scourge of the Sand. Scourge of the Sand is dropped by the Ancient Remnant. If you hold right click for 3 seconds, when you release it, it's gonna summon Ancient Desert Stele on top of enemies' head within a 12 block radius, crushing them down and dealing damage. This weapon can be evolved with Ancient Metal Ingot and a Desert Jewel Fragment, which is dropped from the Ancient Remnant. You can upgrade the Scourge of the Sand on a Mechanical Fusion Anvil with the Shell Bound, which is dropped from the Amethyst Grab, into the Thorn of Oblivion. On every 7 hit of the Thorn of Oblivion, there's gonna be 12 Amethyst Cluster projectile launching in every direction. And you evolve this weapon with the Verdant Spellweave Ingot, which can be found by slaying Amethyst Crabs, and the Kirexi Claw, which is also found by killing the Amethyst Crab. I feel like it's a bit redundant. Next we have the Void Strike Reaper. This one is dropped by the Ender Guardian, is evolved with the Void Spellweave Ingot, and yep, it can be found by defeating the Ender Guardian. You also need a Void Core. With the Void Strike Reaper, you can right-click to summon Void Runes in a circular pattern around you. The runes spawn in 8 waves in 5 ticks of delay between each wave ring, damaging all entity caught in their path. Then we have the Infernal Devastator, dropped by the Netherite Monstrosity. Holding down right-click for 2.85 seconds, fire 3 flare bombs in a 50-degree arc, exploding on impact, creating a flame jet that scorches entities caught within it. You can evolve this weapon with the Lava Power Cell, dropped from the Netherite Monstrosity, and the Pyro Spellweave Ingot, dropped by the Netherite Monstrosity. And finally, the last weapon is the Gauntlet of Extinction. This one is a rare drop from the Luxtroctosaurus, can be evolved with Tectonic Shard and Tectonic Ingot. Landing an attack grants a 45% chance to summon a Tremorsaurus Spirit to deliver a crushing follow-up chomp. This gauntlet is the only way to cast the imbued spell Extinction. So let's say we have this village here, and we aim at this guy over here. There we go. You basically bring forth a meteorite on top of your foes. And finally, we have the accessories, the couriers that will boost your spells. First of all, we have the Ethereal Despair Ring. This one is crafted with a Cursium Ingot, 4 Arcane Essence, and an Ancient Metal Ingot. This one will change the Axe Blade of Despair. Normally, if you use the Despair spell, you cannot shoot upward, but with a ring, there's no limit to that. Then we have the Firestorm Ring. This one is crafted with a Lava Power Cell, Netherite Scrap, and 4 Arcane Essence. This one transforms the meteor from Meteor Storm into flare bombs that explode and create flame jets around the targets. But the spell can no longer directly target an entity. So this is normal Meteor Storm, and it's rain down meteor on your targets. And with the ring, it becomes flare, just like the Netherite Monstrosity. Then we have the Azure Ignition Bracelet. This one is crafted with an Arcane Ingot, 6 Nether Bricks, and an Ignitium Ingot. And this one permanently ignite Ignis Team spell with Soul Fire, increasing its damage. So spell that imitates Ignis power, like the Burning Judgment, are now boosted to Beef Blue. Well, I should have done that before, but yeah, just like that. The Night Stalker Band can be found in treasure chest in Ancient City. You can now use the reversal spell without a weapon. And when you use reversal, you gain the assassin effect for 5 seconds, boosting movement speed, greatly enhancing attack damage. But the effect ends upon striking an enemy. Reversal spell is a wild one. So here we have our friend Ferrous Ravnot. And we can, well, reflect the damage onto our enemies, and yep, it bypasses armor, immunities, damage cap. That's a fun one. Without this bracelet, you can only put it on weapons, but with the bracelet, you can just use it willy-nilly. The Energy Unbound Necklace is crafted with 4 Iron Ingots, 1 Arcane Ingot, and 1 Witherite Ingot, and this one lets you look around while casting the Death Laser and move with 80% reduced speed. So this is without, you cannot really move, and this is with the amulet. Then we have the Sigil of the Spider Sorcerer. This one is crafted with a Poisonous Potato, 4 Arcane Essence, and 1 Fermented Spider Eye. This one lets you climb wall while using the Aspect of the Spider, which is a basic spell from Iron Spells and Spellbook, and striking an enemy grants 50% chance to poison it for 3 seconds. The Amulet of Spectral Shift modified the Spectral Blink spell. It can be found in Ancient City's treasure chest. Normally, Spectral Blink lets you teleport to an entity that you look at, just like that, but with the amulet, it basically lets you teleport enemy to you. There is a blacklist, for example, Tonguebeat, the sculptor, is in the blacklist, so you cannot teleport Tonguebeat next to you after doing the test. Then we have the Bottle Rain Cloud. This can be bought from the Aqua Grandmaster, and made the Rainfall spell remove beneficial effect from enemies and apply the corroded effect to all entities within 2 seconds. Next we have the Echo Charm. This charm can appear pretty much everywhere globally, and they are used to learn spells, random spell from a different element. So in exchange for XP, like right now I don't have enough experience points, if I gain a few levels, I think it's 15, but don't quote me on that one. Yep, there we go. It now has the Bubble Spree imbued into the charm, so you can wear the charm and use the spell. And finally, there's the Augment. Augments are a bit more vague. The only 2 that I know where they drop are the Thunderbolt and the Refreshment from the Aqua Grandmaster. All the other ones, I have no idea. They can be found pretty much everywhere. Some of them, I think the Volcana is dropped by the Luxstructosaurus or the Netherite Monstrosity, but they are basically cursed, powerful augment. They boost some spell, but reduce some other spell. For example, the Equilibrium will reduce 20% of your fire spell power, but give you 20% blood spell power. They can be crafted together into stronger version. You can use Celestial Shard to make them stronger. Celestial Shard are made from Celestial Fragments that are found in Caveman House in the Primordial Cave. The one boosted by the Celestial Fragment can also be upgraded again into a wild one, and this one has a stronger effect. So that was everything from the TO Tweak Magic and Extra. And if you want to see every new spell from the mod, well, you should go to my second channel and watch the video over there. So I hope you enjoyed, and as always, you're awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!